Hey, bye, it's me, Ian. And in today's video, I'm looking at this. This is Insidious Chapter 2 from 2013. And just before I go on, I'd like to thank Sean again for sending me this. He sent me the first one. It's in a double pack. And, well, what a film this is as well. It's a great sequel. I think it was inevitable after the success of the first one that we would get a sequel. And it's interesting that there's a 3-year gap. It wasn't one that was, an immediate sequel in terms of preparation and putting this together, which I think is really interesting. And I think that was a good thing. They certainly was able to plot and plan this story so well, and of course they've created this series of films, as we know. So let me just get into it again. It's 106 minutes long. Again, it just sails by. It really does. And then Rotten Tomatoes, I think, give it a pretty bad score. Actually, 39%. A lot of people do love these films, and even the critics. Some critics inevitably, with horror, what they like. But if you really love horror, you really were into these films, definitely. So, the screenplay is by Lee Whannell again. Brilliant screenplay. And of course, it's all comes from a story which he developed with the director James Wan. They work so well together, it's inevitable, really, that we get this kind of really well thought out story, and it's great. It's absolutely wonderful. And of course, as I say, it's directed by James Wan again. From what he said in the extras, he definitely wanted to come back and do this, rather than like with the Saw. He didn't. He did the first one. So I think he felt he wanted this second film to go in the direction that he really wanted, right? I think he felt maybe the Saw movies didn't. So this is quite interesting that he really wanted that for this film, and it shows, I think, because it is well thought out. It really is. That's a good thing. Now, it was given a slightly bigger budget, but 5 million is not a big budget, is it really? But again, I mean, look at the box office. $161.9 million were made in the box office. Fantastic. I mean, for such a relatively low budget film. It was shot just slightly longer this time. I think it was 3 weeks last time. This time it was 25 days. The locations used, we have a house they found in Highland Park, Los Angeles. And also they used very well as well Linda Vista Community Hospital for certain scenes as well. Absolutely superb. All the location, it's all there. And again, I must also mention the music, which is by same again, Joseph Rishara. He worked very closely on the set as they were filming with James Wan, and because the score is absolutely fascinating. Again, I think he was there on seeing it and developing the score as well. Fantastic the way it all comes together. So let's have a look at the cast again. Of course, we've got Patrick Wilson back as Josh, and we've got Rose Byrne as his wife Renee, and then we've got Ty Simpkins returning as Dalton. Then we've got Lynn Shay playing Elise. She's back. Wonderful. Then we've got Steve Coulter playing Carl. Now, he is a colleague of Elise who comes into this film. He's interesting. He goes right back in terms of his work, a lot of TV things in 1991. He was in The Conjuring 2013. He was in the next film in Insidious Chapter 3 2015. He was in The Conjuring 2 2016. He was also in Annabelle Comes Home 2019. And The Conjuring, The Devil Made Me Do It 2021. He's in that one. He was in Insidious, The Red Door this year, 2023. I noticed also he was in She-Hulk, a TV series which nobody else likes apart from me. I loved it, but there we go. You can't have it. But he was in that. But I mean, he's in Oppenheimer. Yeah, this year's big hit, 2023. Yeah, and he wasn't in Barbie, but you never know. We could have had all the lot there. So yeah, he's an important role again in this film, a new introduction. Then we've got the return of Barbara Hershey playing Lorraine Lambert. She's Josh's mum. Yeah, fantastic. Then we've got the return of Lee Whannell, the writer. He plays Specs. We've got those other two characters, and Angus Simpson as Tucker. They're in there. Not everybody was keen on them. Some people were, some people weren't, but they're back for this. And then, this is an interesting one. Right at the very end of the film. The very, very end. Yes. Because we get a new opening. We've got Jenna Ortega, who plays Annie, who is on the rise. This must have been a very, very early role for her as a child actress. But I mean, wow. She's on the rise, isn't she? Scream 2021. She's in that. She was in X. Oh, X. What a brilliant film that is. X. We can just talk about X all the time. 2022. And of course, she was in Scream 6, 2023. And a lot of people absolutely love the TV series Wednesday that she was in from 2022, which I think has been renewed, and we're going to get more of that. And generally, she's really a star that is now on the rise, definitely. So that's an interesting part of her career. Yeah, right at the beginning there. So what else have we got to say? Well, let me just go into how this film starts. It starts, the very first scenes, what I like about this is we get in some more background, and we get a background scene to when Josh was a child, yes, and we get his mother there, and then, interestingly enough, we see Elise there, yes. I call her a psychic. I think that's the best way to describe her, but she is there. And I'm not going to say totally what it is, but we learn some very, very important information here, definitely. And then it moves forward to where the film really ended, the first one, with the death of Elise. And you say, well, you said that she's in it. Yes, she is in it. And we'll see her again playing a very important part. This is the great thing about having, the astral world, or as they call it, the further, yes. It's all going on in there, and she's there, yes. It's really good to see her. She's just a character. So basically the Lambert family, it's all happening again. They move on to another house. Yeah, and yes, it's everything is going wrong. And of course, I think the film, the important thing about this film is we see the contrasts in characters and the possession aspects as well of what happens, particularly with Josh. His possession is very important, by the demon. Very, very important. A demon witch. Well, actually, I think she's a witch, an old lady who's a bit of a witch character demon. Oh, anyhow, his possession is very important in this film. But what is important is we get into the let's say the other dimension of the astral world, the further, and this is brilliantly done. And then we get to see other aspects of their characters. What I like about all this is we see the contrasting characters of themselves, and it's absolutely superb. As I say, we also get Ty Simpkins, who plays Dalton as well, brilliantly played, as his son, Josh's son. He's in this as well, of course, in the further in the astral world. Yeah, absolutely super. The story develops, and again, the horror is really good. You see it there in front of you. It doesn't sort of try and trick you when nothing happens. You see all these characters, and once again, you've got to say it. I'm going to say it. You know what I'm going to say? Practical effects and makeup are so scary. They're brilliant. What they do is fantastic. As I say, you must think I'm against CGI. I'm not against CGI, but the way these do it, it's to me, it's so much better. They seem to do a better job. But it's just great. That's not always the case, but anyhow. I won't mention that film that I talk about that I think was in the pits. Yes. Anyhow, so I think the film is a great sequel, really, to this, and because it sets this whole universe, if you want, of films up, and of course we are going to get some more, which we do, which is great. And what I love is learning more about the backstory, and also as a family. It's the Lambert family. It's really interesting watching the drama unfold for them. Their struggles, and it's kind of a thriller as well. It's a horror with definitely a thriller. I love it. I love that sort of things, and how they're pushing the story along is great. Absolutely superb, and I loved it. I absolutely loved this, and I say the ending. We get like two endings. We get the ending, and that is great. Very satisfying ending. But then we get this other bit again, and yeah, that is the one where we see Jenna Ortega's character appearing as Annie as well. Um, that is very good. That sets up certain things. While we see more information about this, it's fascinating, absolutely fascinating. Also, I think Specs and Tucker are really good again. I think it's good. I enjoy seeing him. They just add maybe a little lighten the situation up a bit, but they're not clowns or anything, and they play an important part in the film. I like that side, to it as well. Yeah, I think that's good. I think it's good to have that as a nice contrast. Very pleased with this film, really am, because sometimes you think, well, it's maybe not going to be quite as good, but this is a case where they've done everything right. Everything has been done right. It really makes you think, well, James Wan knows exactly what he's doing with all this. He's got a vision, an idea, and he works so well with Lee Whannell. And Of course, Lee Winnell directs the next film. Yes, he feels. I think James Wan is very happy for him to do that as well, so he knows about what he wants with this. So overall, I'm really pleased. I really recommend this film. Just a quick look. There is the second one, and thanks, Sean. Really brilliant. Yeah. What can I say? I'm very pleased with it. And I'll put a link down to his in the description Sean's site. That's it. Yes. Now, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, and then we'll let you know when I produce these videos. You look at the playlists, all that kind of thing. Really, if you've got any comments as well, please put some comments down, and give this a like as well, because giving it a like, it means it goes out into, hopefully YouTube will put it out into algorithms, then more people might, think, oh, I'll try that. And it all costs note. So you can't say further than that, can they? Buy it, you can't. Aye. So, that's it. So all I've got to say is, I'll see thee again.